98% of all mega projects run over schedule and over budget. While capital projects are a multi-billion-dollar industry, improved shareholder value and profit is the product of safe and effective work plans and advanced and accurate data. Are you ready for more efficient projects that improve the triple bottom line? You're in good company. This is CII. Based at the University of Texas, CII is a not-for-profit think tank, boasting a roster of Fortune 500 owners, successful engineers and construction contractors, and world-renowned suppliers and technology firms, who all share the goal of maximizing project potential while minimizing costs and hazards. Together, we have achieved an 88% increase in workplace safety, 16% improvement in materials management, and an average $8 million saved for every $100 million spent. As the best of both academia and the world's leading member organizations in energy, manufacturing, space exploration, and beyond, we develop the innovation and groundbreaking capital projects of tomorrow, today. We are your company's R&D lab for capital projects, founded with the core goal of dramatically improving the people, process, technology, and business models that drive our industry. We are in this together because advancing capital projects works best through the power of us. CII is your opportunity to engage with the leaders of your industry and establish cutting-edge solutions for costly issues that plague our projects. Join CII today to find what amazing new heights you can reach when allied with the best and brightest minds in the capital projects industry. CII is reinventing the projects industry. You won't want to be left behind.
So this is about CII. And what they're claiming is that 98% of all mega projects run over schedule and over budget. Kaya kailangan aware tayo. Okay, so 98% of all mega projects run over schedule and over budget. So you have to remember that. Kaya nga, we have to make sure you have to make sure that your project is on track, on schedule. Okay, so kailangan natin ng best practices. And let me check if by next week we will discuss briefly about maturity model. Maturity model or project maturity model, it is one of the key learning that I want you to remember, especially if you are analyzing the company you are working with, your consultant, and the contractor. Next week, i-discuss ko ng medyo malalim ng konti yun. Okay? So what they are claiming is that with their membership, we can maximize the project potential, minimize cost, and eliminate hazard. 88% increase in workplace safety, 16% improvement material management, and 8 million savings for every 100 million spent. So that is an 8% savings. So what they're claiming is that if you will implement the best practices which they are preaching or providing to the industry, you can save minimum 8%. And for us, as a practitioner, 8% is more. Okay? So that is Construction Industry Institute. And I've known this company since 1990, on my first year sa Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Aramco is a full-fledged member of CII. It is not Saudi Aramco as but yung Saudi Aramco overseas. So tandaan natin that Aramco has Saudi Aramco has three satellite branches, one in Japan, one in UK, and one in America. Okay, so I'm familiar with CII for the past 32 years. And it was founded in 1983 by 28 members organization. Now they have 140. And I'm proposing this to ADNOC. Unfortunately, it was not by my CEO because it's expensive. But he acknowledged that most of the project we have are having challenges, and however, I'm not the one who decide for that. So yun, so CII It was a research foundation, and it was structured by owner-contractor academic research collaboration. It is based in University of Texas at Austin. And these are the offices or collaborating offices within the CII group. Yan. So, who is CII? Sino ba itong mga ito? And I do believe kilala niya yung mga yan. Tama? So, walang hindi nakakakilala sa BP, sa General Electric, Procter & Gamble, Shell, so NASA. If this owner is part of this organization, definitely it's 100% good, correct? So what we are doing now is I'm teaching you to use these best practices. Currently, I only have 13 because I have the standard of 2012. They have introduced this last year in 2020 additional best practices such as yung WPS Work Packages System, yung mga bago yan eh. Okay, then we have, okay, these are the member contractors. Okay, and sino ba ito, mga SNC Lavalin, and even yung Koreans, nandyan din mga Koreans eh. Okay, yung Worley Parson, so Worley, okay, Bechtel, Fluor, CCC, NPCC. So they have this standard. Ang problema, is it accessible sa inyo as an employee? And mostly ito yung nasa mga top management. Okay, middle and top management lang ang may access sa ganito. So these are the service providers. So these are the list of 17 best practices being preached, introduced by CII to the construction industry. So any question on this CII and their 17 best practices? So anybody here in the class that are familiar with CII and 17 best practices before you join into this group, to these classes? Familiar ba kayo dito o dito nyo lang nalaman yan?
Dito lang nalaman.
Okay, so but this is very important. Yung best practices is an important reference. Okay, and I'll be sharing it to you after our break later. Okay, so there are few reasons why contractor fails, and the number one reason is unrealistic growth or change in the scope of business. Okay, so change in the type of work performed. Ang ibig sabihin yan, kung dating civil contractor, pumasok sa structural work. So, that changes is an issue because iba ang skill set doon di ba? So, one of the reasons is unrealistic growth or change of the scope of business. So, kailangan i-master natin and aralin ng mabuti ng isang contractor bago siya pumasok sa isang type of work. Then, change in location of work performed. Isa sa mga challenges ng mga contractor dito sa Abu Dhabi ay yung requirements. For example, dito sa ADNOC, if you are having a commercial registration sa Dubai, you cannot get permit sa ADNOC unless you are registered in Abu Dhabi. Tama? So, these are the types of challenges. And since na magbubukas kayo ng company dito o branch, then may mga requirements kayo, yung offices, yung trade license, yung mga documentations and legalities which you or your company is not aware of. Ayan. So, unrealistic growth or change in the scope of business. Pwede rin yung significant increase in size of individual projects. Ang ibig sabihin, tandaan natin that every project requires material, equipment, and manpower. So, one of the issue is that you are bidding for a project you are not capable of completing due to lack of resources. Nangyayari din yun. And kung minsan, ang inaasahan ng contractor is that, they will be giving a 10% mobilization fund or something, 10% advance payment from the client, which sometimes hindi lahat ng client nagbibigay nun. So, yun ang magiging issue ngayon. And if your project is quite big, yun, doon tayo madadali. So, yan sa mga reason bakit a contractor will fail. Then, yung rapid expansion. Just because you have 2-3 projects and ang ibig sabihin yan, you can multiply and expand your company. No, not yet. Siyempre, if you hire more people, then you have to change office. If you have, so yun yung mga kailangan realistic din ng make it gradual, project by project. Okay? And there are also times that you are exceeding capitalization. Capitalization means you have to buy equipment, and you have to check, is it really a good option to buy an equipment or capital expenditures? Why not just rent it for the meantime for this particular project? Okay? So, yan yung reasons. So, why contractors fail? Number 1 is unrealistic growth or change in the scope of business. Number 2 is performance issues. Performance issues means inexperience with the type of work. Sabi natin kanina, the contractor is doing a different type of work which bago sa kanya. Ayan. So, it will happen, performance issues. And since that you don't have sufficient people or trained manpower to do this type of work, diyan kami magkakaproblema. It might be a poor quality job that you need to do some rework. Then personnel do not have adequate training or experience. Yes, because of the performance issues. Then insufficient personnel. So, performance issues may be inexperience with the new type of work. Personnel do not have adequate training or experience, and insufficient personnel. Number 3, the third reason why contractor fails is that character, management, personnel issues. Ano yun? Contractor retires, a company is sold, changes in leadership or focus. Ang ibig sabihin, yung may-ari o yung key person o say CEO o chairman nag-resign, ayun, bagsak yung company. So, there is no ownership or management transition plan that exists to ensure continuity of operation in the event of principal's death or disability. Kaya nga kailangan i-prepare natin yung succession plan. Have you heard about succession plan? Succession plan meaning na while somebody is working in a particular key role, meron ka ng isa o dalawang tinitrain just in case hindi na bumalik, nagkasakit, nagkaroon ng disability or health issue itong key person natin, we have somebody to take over. So, yun yung tinatawag ng no ownership or management transition plan that exists to ensure continuity of operation in the event of principal's death or disability. Okay? Then, key staff leaves the company. Pag umalis ang CEO, general manager, or senior project manager, so that is also one of the reasons why contractor will fail. A personal issues. Then, staff inadequately trained or on company policies and operations. Ito mostly will happen at job site. There are certain policies in the head office that the site personnel are not aware of. So, may mga procedures na hindi napapalo which are detrimental to the financial issues or security or whatever na pwedeng maging reason why contractor will fail. Number 4 is accounting. Ito, marami nangyayari ito. Accounting issues, financial management issues, inadequate cost and project management system. Inadequate cost and project management system. Ibig sabihin, sabi natin kanina, sabi kanina, somebody, forgot na. Sabi natin, yung leadership, team, and system. Pag tayo ay mahina sa system when it comes to cost and project management system, yung processes, doon tayo magkakaroon ng problema. Kaya nga, sabi ko kanina, by next week, I'll try to tackle yung project management maturity model. Importante din yun. Ang sabi ko sa inyo, i-master ninyo yung project delivery at saka itong contract pricing strategy. Ngayon, when you are monitoring your company or subcontractor or contractor, lagi nyo rin titignan is their maturity in implementing the project. Because their maturity will define if they can really successfully implement yung project or it will be a challenge to you as an owner representative or consultant representative. Okay, so titignan natin mamaya. Anyway, next week, aaralin natin yon. But, accounting issues, financial management is a system. Ang sabi natin ang sabi ni Joran, don't blame the people, blame the system. Ang failure ng system, only 15% can be contributed to the people and 85% sa system. Okay, ulitin ko. If there's some system fails or failure in the system, don't blame the people. Blame the system. Kasi ang nangyayari, most of the time, pag may mga failure sa sistema, ang lagi nating sinisisi sa management is yung tao. But, as a good manager, lagi natin titignan, it is to blame more on the system. Most of the failure, 85% is a failure or gaps, pain points and gaps within the system. Kaya nga, trabaho natin yon as part ng construction management or project management is to make sure that our system is robust and alam natin kung how to improve the system. Okay? If there's a system, it can be improved. Okay? So, 15% lang ang reason related with personal issues. Okay? Then, estimating and procurement problem. Again, it's also part of the system. Financial management and accounting, it's more about system. Estimating and procurement problem, it's also a process gaps or system gaps. Lack of adequate insurance. Ayan. Pag meron kang bahay, assuming, ang kotse na lang, there are two types of insurance, di ba? Meron tinatawag na TPI, third party insurance, at saka full coverage insurance. Pag ang minimum requirement ng LTO or ng police, ano ba tawag dito? Murur. Sa Middle East, murur ang tawag, di ba? Ang minimum requirement is TPI or third party insurance. So, what happened is that if you met an accident at may nasira, ang babayaran ng insurance, pag TPI, is yung third party. Yung sa iyo, ikaw ang magpapagawa. Okay. Ang problema, pag na-one hit ka, di ba? Pag na-one hit ka ngayon, yun ang ibig sabihin, may nasira sa iyo at hindi siya naka-full insurance, ang mangyayari, pwedeng maging junk yung sasakyan mo. Pero pag wala namang aksidente, panalo yung insurance company. So, ganun yun. So, one of the issue is lack of adequate insurance. Kaya nga may tinatawag na yung contractor all-risk insurance, professional indemnity. So, that will cover yung insurance issue related with your project. And I would suggest once you become an executive or senior management ng isang contracting company is to make sure that you go with insurance that you seek the assistance or guidance or advice by a lawyer or at least an insurance specialist. Then, improper accounting practices. Again, it's part ng system that we need to improve. Yeah. So, number 5, other factor which also seems to point to management problem. Number 1, economic downturn or high inflation. So, paano natin gagawin yan kung economic downturn and high inflation? So, these are related with risk management. Okay? So, risk management may also cover yung economic downturn and inflation. Then, yung poor site condition and or building plans. Pwede rin yung labor difficulties or lack of skilled labor. Materials and equipment shortages. Owner's inability to pay. Onerous or burdensome or involving a heavy obligation contract terms. So we have to check this also. Ano yung mga, kasi sabi nga, not because wala kayong project you have to just sign the contract without really fully understanding kung ano yung nakalagay dun sa contract. Tandaan natin that construction is a contract-centered industry. Contract-centered, ibig sabihin, lahat ng gagawin mo or i-accept mo, laging dapat nasa contract. Okay? So, yun yun. So, these are the 5 reasons why contractor pays. Balikan natin. Number 1 is, ano yung number 1 natin? Unrealistic growth or changes in the scope of business. Okay. Number 2, performance issues. Okay. Then, character management and personal issues. Number 4, accounting issues and financial management problem. And yung number 5 is yung miscellaneous, other factors which also seem to point to management problem. Next question ko dito, meron ba kayong question? Next question. Meron kayong question dito? So why contractor fails? Dalawa lang naman yan. It's either may natutunan o walang natutunan.
How about the current situation of our pandemic, where it will be contributed to?
Okay, so saan papasok yung pandemic na yan? Okay, so with regards to pandemic, can we consider pandemic as a force majeure?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Force majeure. Okay, so if that, what is it an advantage to contractor or an owner or consultant? What force majeure can bring to a project? Ano yung mga possible consequences ng isang force majeure? So, ano consequences? If there's a force majeure, ano magiging consequences sa project natin?
Marami siya. For example, yung slow rate of progress.
Okay.
Hindi matapos yung project kasi yung mga equipments hindi mo pwedeng i-import just like what we are facing right now. Maraming magiging impact yung force majeure, but it is covered under the contract. Pag sinabi mo namang force majeure, yung contractor pwede siyang magdeklara na ipuput mo na namin itong project as on hold kasi siyempre kung ma-delay ka further, meron tayong tinatawag na delay penalties.
Okay.
Pero during force majeure, hindi ka naman pwede mag-impose both sides from contractor or from the client. Hindi pwede mag-impose ng penalties.
Okay, so I have a question to those people who are practitioners now. Is COVID-19 or pandemic officially tagged as force majeure or not?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So it's considered as force majeure.
It is considered.
Ano siya? Okay.
Kasi
Sige.
bago naman ma-considered as force majeure, naka-state yan sa contract conditions natin kung ano yung mga requirements at saka qualification na pwede natin sabihin once yung situation ng project or situation ng yung construction natin is na-fall dito, pwede mo nang i-consider as force majeure. May mga may mga requirements yan na dapat ma-comply.
During
impact niya.
During force majeure,
Sir, isa lang po, sir.
Sige, LJ.
Sir, as of now, sir, hindi po siya consider as force majeure kasi isa PDP.
Yes, Erwin.
Sir, yung mga insurance policy, the insurance, they should check, sir, they consider them.
Okay, so there is the official, maybe it's a case-by-case declaration from company that COVID-19 pandemic is considered as force majeure. But in the event of the national, for example, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, within GCC, are they confirming that COVID-19 is considered as force majeure or still undeclared yet?
Undeclared, sir.
Undeclared pa. Kasi when it comes to force majeure, there is also an option to cancel the contract.
Yes. Puti pa
Yes, sir.
Okay, so currently they are not really pushing forward for a force majeure yet. But anyway, as part of what is happening now, contractor are also given a leeway with regards to delay, correct? Sige. Sige, Orlando.
Because of on our project, siyempre, na-delay kami and we notified the client and the consultant that we need to claim something regarding to time. And also, especially that our suppliers came from other Emirates, like let's say LOA, let's say from Contractor, or let's say from Dubai. And recently, or just like a few months recent, some majority of the materials that came from other Emirates cannot come to Abu Dhabi. So we really struggled in our execution because our materials cannot come to Abu Dhabi to more execute it. But then later on, the consultant rejected our claim. They're saying that why did you consider having other Emirates before the pandemic? But for us, who could have known that pandemic will come? So regularly before, you can have any other Emirates as a supplier. Let's say you can have supplier from LA or what. So what do you think, bro?
Okay. Actually, okay. Sabi nga sa inyo, I'll be honest with you, again, it depends on what helmet you're wearing. Okay? So, tandaan natin that the people who are rejecting your claim for EOT or extension of time is not the owner itself. It's only the consultant. Tama? So, it's a representative of the owner, but they are working as an agent of the owner. There is a policy or unwritten policy within the owner and consultant that contractor may or may not aware of, is that any indications, any try of contractor to claim an extension of time, ang first response dyan is what? To reject. First observation is reject. Okay, so ganun din yun. Once you become an consultant or the owner, kasi dyan lalabas yung experience ng consultant as an owner's agent. To be honest, ito yung mga strategy na dapat nyong gawin. For example, I'm working with the owner or consultant. Any submission ng documents, regardless, is it a design or claim or whatever, ang first response ko dyan is what? To reject. Okay. Why you need to reject? So that the contractor will put more effort to produce what? To produce documentation. Yeah, supporting documentation. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, it is not me consultant who will do it for you. You submit, I reject it, then with that rejection, ano mangyayari? Then you will do your homework. Correct? Okay, so magaling yung consultant nyo. Pwede. Okay, so ganun din ang gagawin natin. Ganun din.
May addition ako dun sa...
Sige.
Ano kasi yun, friend? Tawag dito. May clause kasi. Depende sa contract na ginagamit nyo, pero dito is normally FEDIC ang ginagamit natin. May clause kasi doon na during this force majeure condition, okay, hindi pwedeng mag-claim, hindi ka pwedeng mag-raise ng claim as a contractor. At saka at the same time, kahit na ma-delay ka sa trabaho mo, hindi rin pwedeng mag-claim ng delay penalties ang tawag nito, ang kliyente. Tatlong project ang hinahawakan ko, tatlong letter na rin ang list ko for force majeure situation na ngayon. So, yun yung niyan. Meron kang option if medyo napagastos ka na sa at saka hindi ka binayaran sa prolongation cost. May clause tayo sa kontrata na pwede mo siyang ilagay as on hold hanggang sa ma-normalize yung situation. Meron yan. Pwede mo mabasa yan sa setting.
Okay. Pwede, pwede. Okay, anyway. Again, question. Lahat ba dito alam yung FIDIC? Lahat ba kayo alam niyo yung FIDIC? Okay. Ano ba yung FIDIC? Federasyon, ano ba yan? Sige nga. Who would like to... Sige, FIDIC tayo. But again, FIDIC is just a type of, we call it short form contract or SFCC. Short form of construction contract or short form contract, SFC. But there are also some companies who are not using FIDIC as part of their contractual documentation with contractor. Again, depende yan kung ano yung ginagamit ng company. If your company or project is using FIDIC as a main reference of the contract, then whatever FIDIC says, plus yung mga supporting documents, kasi may mga interpretation din yan within the FIDIC documentation, well and good. But again, depende yan doon sa projects na, o sa contract na ginagamit ng project. I work with many oil and gas companies, and most of the time we have our own standalone contract terms and conditions. Ang point ko dito, you must be familiar with FIDIC, but not all contracts are related with FIDIC. Depende. Okay? So you have to check the specific contract you have with your client. Contractor fence, after nito, tsaka tayo mag-break. Yung contractor fence, okay. If this is just an illustrative illustration of what's within your project, whatever inside the fence, that is the content of your project. Okay? So, yan ang ibig kong sabihin dito sa ating contractor's fence. So, ang sabi natin dito is you have to guard your fence. So, lahat ng within that project, that boundaries, ano yun? Contract schedule. Ang project ba natin, mayroong contractual schedule? Meron, di ba? Pangalawa, meron ba tayong quality of work? Naka-specify sa project? Yes. Pangatlo, quantity of work, naka-specify sa project? Yes, it is quantified. Number 4, meron ba tayong foreseeable delays sa project? Non-foreseeable delay. Yes, meron. So, tayo as a project manager, within your contract, kung as a, you are working within the contractor, you have to guard your fence. Guard your fence, that is, we call it contractor fence. Kanino? Number 1, you have to guard your fence from your client or consultant. Mag-ingat kayo sa mga kliyente at saka sa mga consultant. For what? For unreasonable delays. Ano ba ang makapagdi-delay sa contractor na ang source ay kliyente o consultant? Number 1 is request for information. Pwede bang mag-delay ang request for information sa isang project? Pwede? Di ba? Nangyayari yan. Ikaw na contractor, you have issued a request for information sa consultant or doon sa kliyente. Hindi siya but in your contract that, as per contract, that the request for information from contractor must be resolved within 2 weeks, for example, or 15 days. It can give you an unreasonable delay. Pangalawa, conducting inspections. Di ba? Nangyayari ba yan? Pag hindi kayo in-inspect ng consultant, pwede bang ma-delay ang project? Pwede. Ngayon, ang tanong dyan, anong type, so, familiar kayo sa ITP, di ba? Ano ba yung ITP?
Inspection and test plan.
Okay, inspection test plan. Meron doon, meron doon na intervention, di ba? So, yung consultant, owner, third party, intervention. Pwedeng W, ano ba yung W? Witness. Pwedeng S. Surveillance. R is equal to, R is, ano yung R? Review. Ano yung, sa Pampangan, HETS. Ano yung H? Hold. Okay, ang question ko, what is the difference between W and H?
But sir, you are witness, but even you cannot attend, we can proceed contract will hold, they need to come, the client needs to come and witness the inspection.
Okay. So kasi there are also some new people here. Okay. What we are trying to say, meron akong notice of NOI, notice for inspection. Request for inspection. Then, ibinigay ko doon sa consultant, sa inspection department ng consultant. At base dito sa ITP natin, ang nalagay is W. Pag W, let's say, ang schedule for inspection is alas 2. So, ibinigay mo ng 24 hours as per contract. Ahead of time, sabi sa contract, minimum 1 day ahead notification. So, binigay mo siya within 24 hours. At the time at inspection, at 2 o'clock, hindi siya dumating, do we have to proceed with the work? For example, is concrete pouring. Itutuloy ba natin ang buhos o hindi? Pero doon sa inspection, W, itutuloy o hindi? Ha?
Yes.
We can proceed. Pero, pag ang H ay nakalagay, hindi siya dumating.
You have to wait.
You have to wait. Okay, so in that case, for unreasonable delay, so you have to guard your position with your consultant or client when they are conducting inspection. Hold means hold. Hold means H means hold, and hold means you have to wait for the client. But W, so ang critical kasi dito, yung mga inspector natin, kaya nga ikaw ang project engineer, ikaw ang project manager. Maraming project manager na nagsasubmit lang ng ITP without discussing yung mga hold point and witness point na nakalagay doon sa ITP. Nangyayari yon? Nangyayari yan. Minsan, bakit yung nalagay yung hold point? Kasi bago lang yung ating inspector, sinabit na. Tanda natin, di ba? Mahirap baguhin ng isang ITP na approve na. Bakit? Kasi ikaw na project manager, hindi mo tinignan na yung palang rebar, layout, layout H. It will delay you, tama? So, kaya nga kailangan tignan natin yung QC manager or anybody who are preparing the ITP, it must be make sure na ito ay dumaan doon sa ang suggestion ko pa nga is i-inform ang estimator, the people who prepare the estimate for the project. So tignan natin, baka mamaya kasi bawat inspection it has a cost value. A good example is yung ITP for piping. Anong difference ng 50% radiography against sa 5% radiography?
50%, sir, half of the joints. However, 50%, 5% is random.
Yan. Okay, so yun yun. So, 50% ng total number of joint must be X-ray. Yung 5% is 5% is the total number of May cost value ba yun? It can delay you? Tama, di ba? So you have to make sure that you check or make sure that yung ITP na isasubmit natin sa contractor is reviewed by the project manager, not only just the QC manager, and challenge it. Na pricingan ba natin ito? Nasa ba ito sa schedule? But for you as contractor, you have to make sure that you guard your pens with your client and consultant because of that. Okay? Number 3, issuing change order. Can issuance of change order can delay you? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Ayan. Okay. So in that case, you have to make sure na ito ay as per schedule. Okay? Ano ang gagawin natin? Suppose na may mga ganito, request for inspection, conducting inspection, issuing change order. Meron pa isa, yung document review and approval. Okay? At saka yung decision na lang, may mga decision. At saka yung payments. Can this be unreasonable, can this be source of unreasonable delays? Yes or no? Okay. Ano ang strategy natin? If you are working with contractor, to ensure that you can push your consultant or client. Paano gagawin natin dyan? Sige nga.
Sir, you have to provide provision of reviewing at planning.
Okay?
30 days maximum.
Okay, fine. Whatever is contractual. Paano magagawin natin? How you can push your client or consultant to act on these unreasonable delays? Paano ba ginagawa natin dyan?
We can hold the side, sir.
Ha? How we can communicate? Paano, ha?
Hold the progress.
Hold the progress? Pwede? Okay. No, but remember that you are contractor, you are guarding your pens from a client. Ano gagawin natin? How we can raise this issue? Ha?
Sir, good relationship. Develop a good relationship.
Good relationship. Sabi nga, mababoting usapan. Okay. Then, ganito. What I'm suggesting, if your client or consultant is giving you trouble or delays unreasonably sa inyong project due to late reply on your request for information, conducting inspection, issuing change order, delay in review approvals, at saka decision and payment, isa lang ang pwede mong gawin dyan. Communicate it properly. Saan? Sa weekly meeting. Okay? And weekly meeting, ito, depende sa galing ng contractor, ha? Kaya nga, sabi nga sa inyo, yung maturity ng maturity model ng contractor, yung maturity ng model. Pag ang contractor, hindi marunong ang manager, paglalaruan ng consultant yan. At saka ng kliyente. Pero ikaw, tapos ka rito sa atin, pag-aralan natin, alam mo na, number one mong gagawin is raise it up properly in a morning meeting. Okay? Any delays, request, area of concern, alam niyo yung AOC? Area of concern. Area of concern ng contractor sa kliyente at saka sa consultant is number one, delayed request for information. Then you have to do proper logging. RFI or request for information number 57. Clarification on the coordinates in block number 7672, 3, gano'n. Submitted ganito. O kailan siya due date? Ganito. Lapses, 7 araw na. Nakuha nyo? Dapat meron kayong ganong strategy. O, conducting inspections. Delay inspection by consultant. Hold item. Inspection notice 127. Ikaw, trabaho mo yan as a project manager na ko. Kaya nga, you are guarding your position. Guarding your pens for unreasonable delay. Document review and approval, delay. Okay. Transmittal number 673. Plot plan for, ganito, ayan, for utility plan. Submitted on ganito. So, ibig sabihin, every meeting, nakikita niya yung progress. Why you are using that? Ano ang purpose ng documentation na ganyan? Anybody?
Supporting document.
For?
You raise a letter to the client.
Yeah, okay. Why you are putting that into record? Huh? Proper tracking, yes. You are doing proper tracking. Yes, that is good. What else? Ha? Jaman, ano? Yeah, kaya mag-ingat kayo sa mga taga-adnoc, Raymond. Okay, so ang point dito, tama yan si Raymond, that will be as part of your evidence for an extension of time. Tama? Yeah, or claims or extension of time. So, you are submitting all this documentation, ilang araw na delay, ano yung consequences ng delay nila, for change order, delay nila sa review ng critical documents. Okay? And I have attended one, meron akong dating consultant na isang project, when it was in Marapik, Saudi Arabia. I was on the contractor side. Magaling yung consultant namin. Bakit? Every promises, meron silang table. For example, nakalagay dito is, let's say, item. First promise, let's say, is to be submitted by 3rd of June. Merong second column ulit dito, second promise. Sa meeting yan, ha? Sa minutes of meeting, okay. Okay. So again, depende sa consultant. Okay, so meron na rito is that first promise ng contractor is June 3. Second promise is kasi June 10. Then third promise is June 17. So ibig sabihin, 3 weeks na namin dinidiscuss sa meeting. And after this 1, 2, 3 na hindi kaya ng contractor site management, ang ika-4 na meeting, yun, pinapadala namin sa head office. Okay? So, anything na hindi kayang isolve ng site, tatlong promise ka na, hindi natupad-tupad eh. So, ang next letter nun, hindi na sa project manager, nasa project director na.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Sige.
Pwede rin natin siguro, sir, na sabihin na iwasan natin ipagbigay ng mga verbal instructions sa contractor. So, usually, nagkakaroon sila ng
Ayan.
they use it against you later.
Okay. Actually, ganito. There are times that we will accept verbal instruction. But, ang tanong dito, yes, I will accept verbal instruction, bakit hindi? But once I reach back to my office, I will send an email or a formal notification. Pwede naman yun eh. Pwede naman yun. Okay, dear engineer, dear whoever it is, as per your instruction, we please be informed that we will be proceeding to the work as discussed by you and will be charged as per contract item 1, 2, 3, whatever. Pwede kang ako, personally, I accept verbal instruction. But it will be properly documented once I reach home. Pwede? Kasi, Hindi. Again, depende. Kasi may mga companies kasi na ang email is considered as a formal communication. Depende sa contract, depende sa communication plan. So, ayoko naman kasi na, sabi nga, depende sa suit ko yan eh. Mahirap kasi na, kasi ang mangyayari dyan, pag ginawa mo yun at not properly documented, ang mangyayari dyan is what? Creeping o polishing? Yung tawag dito? Gold plating. Yan. Okay, gold plating. Balikan natin yan. Okay, so, guard your pens from your clients and consultant for unreasonable delay. Also, denial of work access. After award of contract, we are waiting for notice to proceed. Ano ang difference ng letter of award and notice to proceed? Is it the same? Ang letter of award ba is the same as notice to proceed?
Yes, sir. Sorry. I think notice to proceed first, then letter of award later on.
Nauna ba ang notice to proceed bago ang letter of award? Ano na?
Notice of award and then some documentary requirements, notice to proceed.
Okay. So, letter of award muna. Okay, Okay. That's okay. Ano ang mahaba na yung tanong ko sa inyo. Ano ang difference ng LOI, LOA, NTP, Notice to Proceed?
Yung LOA or LOI is not a contractual document, but if you are just giving a confident to a contractor to give him confidence that he will get the project, he will get the project.
Ano yan? LOA o LOI?
Both sa LOI, LOA. It's not a contractual.
Okay, balikan natin. Sige. Mark, balikan natin yung tanong ko. Ulitin natin. Ang LOI ba o letter of intent is the same as letter of award? Papayag ba kayo doon?
Hindi, sir.
Ayan, may kumontra na sa iyo, Mark. Ano daw? Bakit? Willan, paliwanag mo nga, bakit?
Kasi yung letter of award, sir, is parang nagbigay ka na ng LTO or yung letter of intent is hindi pa siya, pwede pa siyang mabago o maibigay sa iba. May intention ka na ibigay pero hindi final. Pero yung letter of award is final and you can plan ahead na.
Okay, so letter of intent is just an intent, but not yet awarded. Tama? We are intending to award, but not yet awarded. So, but when you receive a letter of award, it means sa'yo na.
Tama yun, sir.
Oh, ganun lang yun. Okay. Okay, so letter of intent is just an intention, but letter of award is yung contractual. Okay. Ano yung notice to proceed?
Na-define na sir yung commencement date.
Okay. So, is it possible ng LOA is the same as notice to proceed?
Hindi sir. No,
Hindi pa, sir.
Ha?
hindi pa sir.
So, ibig sabihin, nag-letter of award na doon that nakalagay naman doon sa letter of award, this officially confirm to proceed. Pwede ba yan? For you to proceed with the project. Pwede yan? Pwede? O kailangan pa ng talde? Ayoko yan. Kailangan ko talaga ng notice to proceed.
Sir, pwede ka naman na mag-proceed kaso risk na ng contractor yun.
Okay.
Risk ng contractor.
Okay. Okay?
Sir, meron kong na-encounter na LOA, meron na din siyang commencement date.
Okay. So, yung validity and commencement date is the same date of the letter of award. Pwede yan.
Ako, meron kong ganun na.
So, kailan typically nag-i-issue ng notice to proceed?
After 7 days, after 1 week sir.
Okay, iyon lang ba ang reference natin after 1 week? Or maybe there are some preparatory works that still being processed, waiting to be finalized. That's why they told you to wait until the notice to proceed. Pwede ba yan?
Tama sir,
Yes,
tama.
sir. Tama.
Okay.
Wait, share ko lang sir yung experience ko sir.
Sige.
Yung letter of award kasi sa amin, bali, binibigay namin yun sa contractor. Getting to process sa contract of agreements. Pag once na meron na kami contract of agreement, through that contractor na binigyan namin ng letter of award, saka pa kami magbigay yung notice to proceed. Or it's either i-define namin doon sa contract agreements yung commencement date at saka yung notice date.
Okay. Iyon lang din. Okay. Anyway, tama yun eh. Again, depende yun. Tama si Charmin, tama rin si Ian, tama rin si William. So again, ang notice to proceed, depende yan sa project. Some project are may hold point prior to proceed. For example, permit from the government, access permit. So you have to wait for the notice to proceed. So ibig sabihin, there are some hold point which is denial for access. So hindi ka makapag-proceed sa site kasi meron pang clearance requirement for some statutory requirement na hindi pa na-comply ng owner. But the contract has been awarded. But some projects within the vicinity, commencement date and LOA or letter of award is the same. So again, depends on project to project. But you have to guard your position with your consultant and client that may deny your work access. Number 8 is ambiguous specifications. It can delay you or not. Okay? So pwede yan. Kasi most of the time, ang mga consultant, basa-basa rin din yan. Just copy it right, di ba? Copy it right from internet. So, ay sabihin, titignan kaya bago hindi ka umot malaking consultancy company, marunong. Hindi, titignan mo rin. Make sure na nabasa mo rin. Ibig sabihin, ambiguous specification. Okay? So, check din natin yon. Then, yung change order. It can also delay you. Yung finalization of change order. Ang mahirap kasi pag ginawa mong isang work item at hindi pa finalize ang change order, ay baka magka-problema ka sa paniningil. Then, inadequate design. Marami din yan. Di ba? Yung mga kulang-kulang na design. So, titingnan din natin yan as part ng inyong contractor spends. Then, interruption of contractor's production flow. What I'm trying to say here is number 11 is make sure most of the project you have right now is design-build. Di ba? Design-build. Ano ang difference ng traditional at saka design-build? Yung design, bid, build. Yun ang traditional. Ibig sabihin, i-design muna, pag natapos ang design, ipabibid, then after ma-ibid, at saka build. Design, bid, build. Yun yung traditional. Yung design, build, is isang contractor, which is we call it sometimes as EPC, who will design and build. Okay? So, most of the project you have right now, na almost around 80% ng project na ginagawa ng contractor falls within design build or EPC. Sometimes we call it like that. So, iwasan din natin that yung consultant will ask too many detailed questions or micro questions about the production flow. There are times na yung consultant and client will go to the fabrication shop and start digging about your what work you are doing. Tama, mali? So, iingatan niyo yun. And you as consultant or you as a client owner, iwasan mo din yon kasi lalabas doon na hindi ka marunong. Okay? Ang sagot lang naman kasi natin dyan at kung nasa contractor ka, don't worry, my friend. We will obey, we will follow, we will comply with the schedule. Okay? So, don't allow na yung consultant and kliyente mo will micromanage pati yung shop fabrication and other things na supposed to be sa inyo. Because it will interrupt your production. Okay? Then, conflicting instruction. Ang sabi ng kliyente, pula. Sabi ng consultant, puti. How you can resolve these issues? Nangyayari ba sa project site yun? There are two conflicting instructions or more? Pwede mangyari? Okay, so what we will do about it? Ikaw ang contractor. Ikaw ang project manager. Okay, pwedeng TQ or technical query or request for information or whatever you want to call it. Anong terminology ginagamit mo. Okay, so ang point dito is kailangan nasa proper documentations. Lahat ng ginagawa natin when it comes to project site, dapat properly documentation. Ano ang advantage kung ang isang contractor are making or submitting daily progress report? Do you have to submit daily progress report or not? Yes. One of the advantage of daily progress report is what?
Payment.
Payment? Okay, pwede. Paano yung payment sa ano? Okay, pwede rin. But ano ang main reason why you are submitting daily progress report?
Basihan yan sa ano, sir? Sa yung when it comes to your resources na din-employ.
Okay, fine.
Tapos minsan at most of the daily report actually nakalagay din doon kung ano yung ano, parang micro-planning ng ano, yung item ng schedule nyo. So, pang-monitoring, kumbaga.
Sige, monitoring or manpower loading, site manpower loading, ano pa? Activities, monitoring. Yeah. What is the other purpose of a daily progress report? Both side, for both side. From contractor side and owner side. Yeah, Willan.
Ginagamit sa cost control.
Okay, pwede rin gamitin sa cost control. What else? Ano yung pinaka-main purpose talaga niyan?
Sa client side, sa consultant side, ginagamit na to see the productivity.
Okay, productivity will be also checked by daily progress report. Ano pa?
As contractor,
mas madaling makikita yung mga problema at hindi na lalaki to. Kasi kung sa daily makikita, makipinpoint agad, bibigyan agad ng solution.
Yes. Okay. one of the main reason sa ano, sorry, yan.
Nag-submit ng progress report ng daily basis, once na mag-submit sila at na-receive ko without any comments, punta sa capacity ni. Kaya sa amin, pag nagsasubmit ng init ng contractor, nagre-reply kami dahil baka meron siyang nilagay doon which is disagree kami or agree kami doon sa
Yan. Okay, very good. So, sabihin, there's an advantage from contractor's point of view and also disadvantage, but more on advantage is a daily progress report can serve as a documentation. And we call it sometimes doon sa ilalim. Kaya nga, pag ikaw ang owner's representative at saka consultant representative, ang lagi mong titignan is yung pinakadulo, which is area of concern. Area of concern might be any problem na nilagay nila doon can be a source of claim later on. Kaya kina-challenge nyo yun. Kaya nga pag may nilagay doon, let's say, delay due to access by owner, owner's crane interfering the access of our personnel. 1 day standby, 6 people. So titignan nyo lagi yung mga ganyan. So daily progress report is good because it can serve both sides, contractor and owner. And the same thing, kung sa owner naman, it can also check, you can also repair this kung future claim. Kasi minsan, ang contractor, pag nalulugi yan, o alam nilang maliit yung kanilang profit margin, hahanap ng paraan yan, how he can claim sa owner. And daily progress report is a good source of backup rejection backup. Okay? So, tignan natin lagi yan. So, balikan natin, guard your fence from client and consultant if you are contractor. You have yung contract schedule, you have quality of work defined as per specification and contract, you have quantity of work defined sa BOQ, and foreseeable delays within the boundary of risk management, either schedule or cost or whatever. Ngayon, tignan natin yung delays from request for inspection, conducting inspection, issuing change order, document reviews approval, decisions, payments, denial of work access, ambiguous specification, change order, inadequate design, interruption of contractors, conflicting instructions. All of this must be documented within the boundary of your weekly meeting. So weekly meeting, dapat yan, any items dyan na nakadelay, i-attach nyo yan as part ng inyong documentation. And, i-compile nyo yan within the monthly meeting or minutes of meeting. Ang tanong, sino gumagawa ng minutes of meeting? Consultant, owner, contractor? Ha? Consultant. Hindi marunong ang consultant nyo. Ha?
Depende sa kontrata. Minsan, yung sa contract nakalagay, yung owner's representative ang gagawa ng minutes. Pero ang nangyayari, siyempre yung contractor ang inutusan, i-prepare ko muna tapos titingnan ko lang. Siyempre, di ba?
Okay.
Ganun eh.
Tama. Okay yan. Pag ikaw, bigyan ko ng example. Pag ikaw sinama ng boss mo sa isang meeting, most probably sa ibibigay ng trabaho. Tama? Kasi ikaw yung lowest position eh. Ikaw yung maduduguan dahil ikaw ang pinaka-lowest position. Same thing with the minutes of meeting. Kung sino yung pinaka-lowest position, siya ang gumagawa ng minutes of meeting, re-reviewin nung higher position. Okay?
Gusto lang dagdag dito sa topic na to. Kasi yung topic natin is unreasonable delay. So, maganda ding tingnan yung tinatawag nating approved critical path. Kasi lahat ng kiniklaim nating delay, pag wala yan doon sa critical path, mahaba-haba usapan yan. Okay. Tapos kung yung notification mo is palagi na tapos parang hindi napapansin, pwede kayong mag-send ng letter, yung tinatawag na delay notification.
Yeah. Pwede.
Work properly.
Depende nga kaya. But as part ng inyong communication, either delay notifications, but the good thing is, sa akin personally, minsan kasi marami pang hindi pa nababasa eh. Diba? Maraming mga dahilan. Pero pag diniscuss mo sa meeting, captured yan eh. Especially pag ang minutes of meeting ay distributed sa management ng kabilang party. Action na sigurado yan. Okay, so management of construction projects. There are four major components in management of construction projects. Number one is construction engineering, management of construction process, human resource management, and financial management. Yung construction engineering, the key word here is proper technique of assembling materials, component, equipment, and system, and utilization of best construction technology to do so. So, proper technique. So, ang note natin dito is, these are our notes. Critical and expensive material or equipment must be installed only by trained and experienced personnel. There are times na yung critical equipment or expensive material might be damaged or improperly installed if the people you are assigning are not trained and experienced. Kaya nga you have to you may consider to get vendor supervision as part ng inyong strategy, especially for critical and expensive material or equipment. Either you train your people using the vendor's representative or service engineer, or get vendor supervision. But vendor supervision is expensive. Unless it is part ng inyong cost estimate sa project, pwede nyo gawin. The best thing to do is to send people to their manufacturing plant or training company for that particular, or get the approved installer of that equipment or material. Number two, management of construction process. Establishing the most effective way to implement the construction process, including proper scheduling, coordination, and control of flow of labor, materials, and equipment. So, my note here is consider using manpower and equipment deployment board. Ito is for contractors. This is part of our strategy. Yung contractor ay we have a whiteboard doon sa office. Sa office ko mismo, kapalagay ako ng whiteboard when I was in contracting company. Then lahat ng mga tao sa project, merong isang parang magnetic strip. Nandun yung picture nila, name and job title or position. So dito, nakikita ko kung ilan yung tao nasa site, sino-sino nasa site, and where they are located, at sino yung kanilang mga line manager. Why I'm doing this is because there are possibilities that that the project or that person are not well utilized. Ang ibig ko sabihin, alam mo naman mga supervisor, they are trying to keep good people within their team even though they are not well utilized. Ulitin ko, one of my strategy for proper distribution of labor, material, and equipment is by having manpower and equipment deployment board. Yung deployment board is a whiteboard at meron akong magnetic strip doon, nakalagay yung picture ng tao, pangalan, at saka so ibig sabihin, if pinuposition, for example, area 1, these are the supervisor or engineer, and these are the people within their team. By doing that, namamonitor ko kung sino yung pwede ko pwede nating ilipat dito sa site na to. Very weak itong nakuha nyo? So doon makikita natin kung sino yung mga we can do proper allocation of people at saka equipment. It's just a suggestion, okay? So I call it manpower and equipment deployment board. Okay, then pangatlo, human resource management, labor productivity. So since labor productivity and harmonious working environment are essential element of a successful project, control over human resource becomes important, more so than ever these days where shortage of both skilled worker and experienced manager exists. Ang sabi ko dito, ang note natin is have a synchronized estimated productivity rates and site productivity target. One of the practice na ginagawa ng mga QS is that they are not giving the target doon sa site. Ang lagi sinasabi ng QS sa head office, kaya-kaya na ng construction team yan. But that is wrong. Kailangan alam natin yung realistic target ng productivity within that particular job work item. Bigyan ko ng example. When I was in a senior project manager dito sa Jubail for Royal Commission project, ang project namin is about concrete repair. We are paid based on by square meter ng concrete na nirepair namin doon sa kanilang retaining wall ng cooling water. So, ang problema, the project manager at site is not aware of how many square meter of repair works the team need to produce per group. So, ang problema namin is invoicing. Ang baba ng invoice namin while ang dami nilang tao. Yung pala, nung pinapunta ko ng aming general manager sa Jubail, that time I was in Rastanura. So, tinravel ko yun. And that time, yung project manager, he was out for a month. So, reliever ako ng project manager. So, nakita ko yung productivity rate nila is hindi matching doon sa estimated productivity ng head office. For example, ang isang team composed of helper, shotcrete technician, etc. is one group must produce 5 square meter per day. Example. So, ang napoproduce nila is less than 2 square meter. Ang problema is that hindi nila nakikita yung hindi alam nung site kung ano ang dapat nilang i-produce. Kaya, sige lang. Ayan. Kaya nga, lagi natin titignan. You have to make sure na synchronize yung estimate. Pero ang ginawa ko doon is ginawa kong finished kalas. Have you heard about that? Yung term na finished kalas?
Yes, sir.
Paano yun?
When I was in DEI, as a pastor with DEI, let's say our parameter is in a crew in the field, you have to produce 12 diets a day.
Okay, spiping. Okay.
Yeah, one crew, it means you have one pipe fitter, one welder, and one helper. So once they can complete that 12 diets a day, they can finish kalas.
Okay. So, ang sabi kasi, pag sinabi kasi finish kalas, ibig sabihin, once you reach the target, even though it's 3 hour or 4 hour, uwi na.
Yes, yes.
Yun ang ibig sabihin ng finish kalas. That is good for helper and laborer sa site, di ba? So, ang ginawa ko doon is, dahil nga delay kami sa invoicing, ang sabi ko doon sa mga tao, okay, complete yung target natin na 6 square meter per day. Pwede na, makakauwi na kayo. So, dahil sa ganung arrangement, alas 11, before 12, uwi na yung mga tao, wala ng tao sa site. So, ibig sabihin, maganda ang naging production ko, lumaki ang invoicing namin for that month, pero meron akong problema. Alam niyo kung ano problema ko? Ang problema ko is yung security ng Royal Commission. Kasi alas 12 ng tanghali, yung mga tao naglalakad sa highway. Kasi yung bus darating ng alas 5 pa eh. Hinabol ako ng Royal Commission. Bakit? Kasi, yun nga, bawal kasi yun eh, na maglalakad-lakad ka doon sa mga pipe corridor at mga security areas. So, but anyway, I was able to cope up with yung sa losses, yung delay namin. And next time, ginawa ko from 6, ginawa ko namang 8, kaya pa rin. So, hanggang sa napaabot ko ng 10 square meter yan per day. Okay, so ang point ko dito, make sure that your estimate productivity rates from the head office na ginamit sa bidding are synchronized with site productivity target. Okay? Number 4 is financial management. Construction is high-risk business with historically low profit margin. Control over cost, cash flow, and adequate funding is critical to success of any business endeavor, and construction is certainly no exceptions. Ang suggestion natin dito, cost control procedure must be established both in head office and field office. So, kailangan meron tayong procedure na sinusunod within sa job site. Kailangan naka-align sa head office. Okay, progress invoicing must be approved prior for submission sa ano yan, sa head office sa kliyente. Kasi pwede kasing magpabalik-balik ang invoices priorly checked by consultants. Okay, so yun nga, progress invoicing targets is one approach. Then yung prior approval prior to submission sa finance ng kliyente. So, sabi natin last time is no gold plating policy. Ang piso, o let's say 1 dirham, kahit lagyan mo ng gold plated yan, magiging 2 dirham ba yun? 1 dirham pa rin, di ba? So, kahit na lagyan mo pa ng 24 karat na gold plating ang 1 dirham pa rin yun. Okay, so ingatan natin. So, ang question ko dito, what is the difference between gold plating and scope creeping? And who initiate gold plating and scope creeping? And what are the possible reasons why it is happening in a construction project? That's a question. Question to, ha? Ano ang difference ng gold plating at saka scope creeping?
Yung gold plating kasi sir, nasa contractor side yan eh. Scope creeping, nasa client side.
Okay. So, yung gold plating initiated by contractor.
Contractor sir. Tapos yung scope creeping, nasa owner side, nasa client side.
So, client side ang nag-initiate ng scope creeping. Agree kayo doon?
Sir, i-add ko lang.
Yes, sir.
Yung gold plating, normally, totoo yun, sa contractor yun. Kung pagana, pagandahin, additional cost, pero wala namang additional value. Pero yung tinatawag natin na scope creeping, yun yung pagwala sa original scope of work, tapos gusto kang gawa ng magic ng consultant na kunti-kuntiin pa, ito muna, sige, gawin mo naman to, pakisuyo, ganyan, puro pakiba, tapos wala na, napagastos na, yun.
Okay, so gold plating is are works not included in the contract but being done by contractor at the expense of whom? Contractor or consultant? Owner. Contractor cost at contractor cost. Yung scope creeping at cost nino yun? Contractor pa rin. So both side, contractor pa rin naman problema. Pero ang nag-initiate ng scope creeping, either consultant or the owner. So, dapat nating iwasan. And what are the possible reasons?
This form of bribing, which is unprofessional. Possible additional cost.
Okay.
And it will not be paid to the consultant or the client.
Okay, so will not be paid by the consultant or the client. So, is it a form of bribing o hindi naman?
So, isa, ginagawa na yan para ma-establish yung relationship, kumbaga.
Okay.
Patuloy na, parang
Normal na. Okay, so actually it's not bribery, but still part ng okay, if the purpose is to build rapport or whatever relationship with the owner, okay, fine, as long as tolerable, but it's not a good practice. Because both gold plating and scope creeping is additional cost to the contractor and not part of the contract. Tama? O mali?